bodybuildingpro.com, here at the 2012 LA FitExpo in Los Angeles, California. Here with Andy Haman, Dymatize sponsored bodybuilder. Andy, how are you enjoying your time at the expo so far? I see you out at a lot of different contests. Sometimes you're with your family. I saw you at the Toronto Pro in Canada. You're always in shape. You're having a good time. What is it about with you? You want to keep it lighthearted, keep it for the fans, that kind of thing?
You know, we're here in LA, and I traveled out here with my wife, Michelle, and you know, we've been together for over 30 years. We just celebrated our anniversary about 3 days ago, and we've been working out together for over 30 years. So she came out with me. She left this morning, and we're doing another day here on Sunday, and we're working here for Dymatize and just really having a nice time. It's a really nice, clean expo. Ton of people, a lot of good fans, and we're having a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, you know, Andy, I've seen you a lot of different times. I've seen you at a lot of different expos. You're always in shape. I don't think I've ever seen you less than 270 with abs. I'm just wondering, do you have an off season or what? You
know, I don't know if I think I do a good job of, you know, shredding my shirts, and I look good, and it's always pretty good lighting wherever I'm at too. But, you know, I don't really have too much of an off season because I've been traveling quite a bit. I probably did over 100 engagements last year, combination with Dymatize and some other people, and traveling on my own. And you know, it's hard to come to a show and meet people and have them see you or want to see you and be out of shape. So you know, it's important to me to at least have some abs and you know, have some shape to my muscles. And I think the fans appreciate it too.
Well, I think it is important to come looking like a bodybuilder. Not everybody does. You've consistently done that. Andy, I always see your line with people here, fans waiting to get autographs. You're very engaging. Everybody likes you here. You know, sometimes the fans are different sometimes than the ones that are on the internet, where sometimes people attract some criticism. This is true of everybody. So what do you make of the ones who comment on your YouTube videos, claim that you use fake weights, things along those lines? Do you have any response to those kinds of people?
You know, I think it's almost like 2 or 3 different worlds. You know, there's kind of a magazine world and a competing world, and then there's this internet world, and then there's an expo world. And I really feel the expo world really represents who the people who are buying things, the people who are important, the normal people. You know, the boards are fun, and there's a lot of goofy things there, but you know, I don't think it's a real good representation of the real people out there, the real consumers, the real buyers, the real athletes. And so, you know, I kind of take some of that stuff with a grain of salt. Plus, those people that bark the loudest sometimes, you know, get the most attention, and it's not necessarily what people really think. So some of the things that I get criticized for, I got to just kind of look away, because I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to engage as many people as I can. I want to hug and kiss as many people and have as much fun. And sometimes that rubs people the wrong way, and they think I'm showboating, or they think I'm acting cool. And when I'm just trying to have fun.
Well, you know, Andy, I won't make a comment. I'd be worried that you might beat me up. And you know something else? You have a big history in wrestling. I don't think this gets talked about enough, but you were a very serious contender back at University of Iowa, and you know, you don't brag about it at all. Well, you probably should be. You know I would be if I had that background. But tell us a little bit about your background in University of Iowa.
You know, I've spent half of my life as a wrestler. I was a competitive wrestler as a child, as a young athlete through junior high and high school, on through college, and then after college. But before I got in high school, I had almost 400 matches, and that was back in the late 70s, early 80s, when, you know, there wasn't a lot of tournaments. So for someone to have that many matches, it was insane. But you know, I went into high school. I won the state tournament there. I was a 4-time qualifier, and I was All-American in high school. I was All-American in college. I wrestled for the University of Iowa, and you know, that was my life. I trained, and I would run every day. I would wrestle every day. I would go back and drill every day, and then I would climb rope, do calisthenics, and I would try to lift weights, and I would look at bodybuilding magazines, and I would want to be a bodybuilder, but I didn't know how or know that I could, because I was wrestling so much, and I didn't really have anybody to help me, or really even in a gym. The place I grew up in Iowa, we didn't have a gym in our hometown. We didn't have a weight room in my high school. And so the first weight room that I ever worked out in was the University of Iowa. It was a Division I football weight room at the University of Iowa, and I never left it. I loved it. And I would stay in there longer than the wrestling room. And my wrestling coach, Dan Gable, who's synonymous, actually one of the best wrestlers of all time, he would get pissed at me because I would be lifting and I wouldn't be wrestling. And so you know, wrestling was near and dear to my heart. It still is. It was just something that I've finally gotten away from and made a transition into doing something different. And, you know, I won the freestyle. I won the national freestyles at 220. I was an Olympic Sports Festival champion. I have an Olympic gold medal from the Olympic Sports Festival. I was one of the best 220 pounders in the world. I was a runner-up at 220. And, you know, it's something that it seems like a long time ago, but it was a huge part of my life. And I don't talk about it a lot, and I mainly because it brings back both good and bad memories. You know, you know, you stir up things and you think about things and coulda, woulda, shoulda, and that for me, that was my passion. A lot of guys in bodybuilding that I'm working with now, bodybuilding is their passion and they're non-stop competitive. For me, it was wrestling.
Well, you know, Andy, you wear many different hats, and I think that you're a dominant personality. Sometimes the dominant personality will, you know, overtakes your dominant physique. Like when you guest post sometimes, a really entertaining, high energy routine. I know Dymatize makes expand. I don't think you'd need it with the energy you have, you know, like, you know what I mean? But you go on stage and you have an entertaining routine, and sometimes that might take away from the physique you have because you have two dominant aspects kind of competing. So, you know, sometimes I think that people want to see the energy, but they also want to see you hold the pose and you know, show the muscle, because you do have both, and you're always near contest shape, always looking very good. You know, like I say, I don't think you have much of an off season because you're always, you know, 8 weeks out from a contest at any given time. You're always basically in good guest posing condition. Right. So, you know, Andy, tell us a little bit about how people can find you on the internet. Any word to your sponsor, any last words that you want to go through?
You know, I have a couple different sponsors, but my main sponsor and the people who have helped me out and helped my family out and who have helped more people that I've worked with in bodybuilding is Dymatize. And it's a family organization. Michael Cassett, the president, is a wonderful man. He's a super hard worker, a lot like a lot of guys that I surround myself with, and I pride myself on being a hard worker. And Dymatize is just a good quality company. You know, we're FDA approved. We have a GMP, good manufacturing practice seal. We have the real seal now with our milk products that are coming out. We're gluten free, and our quality control is second to none. And so I spent many years working in a factory. I worked for Procter & Gamble, and I was on the scope line, and then I drove a tractor on that line, and I know about quality. And anybody who has worked in a factory that mass produces products and has a manufacturing plant and has quality control knows how important that is, because it can shut your business down, it can shut your manufacturer down. And Dymatize is #1 in the world as far as quality, and that's what we want. We want the best ingredients, we want the best for our bodies, and that's what they give us. And so Dymatize.com, make sure you check out AndyHammond.com, and check us out on Facebook, and we'll be seeing you all over the world this year. We're going everywhere in 2012.
You can also find Andy on Facebook. Just search his name. Same with YouTube. He's not hiding. You can see all his videos on there. So, Andy, you want to hit a few poses just for the fans?
This is Andy Hammond from the LA FitExpo coming to you live on Sunday afternoon. They're shutting the lights down, but we're going to do one more pose.
Thanks very much, Andy, for everything. Great interview, and I'll see you at the Arnold Classic. Cool.